YouTube. Just had a moment, put some stuff together here. This particular video, along with maybe the next one, is going to upset a lot of people perhaps. Before I get any hate mail and any Matthew 24:36, I will tell you that I think it's clear. A lot of us specifically were called to do certain things, and some of us were called to be watchers. And I'm going to read you a couple lines in Scripture, and I'm going to prove my point specifically that that we're to do what we're doing. Luke 12:56, when Jesus himself, Yeshua HaMashiach, told the Pharisees, "You hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that you do not discern this particular time?" He spoke of the time of his coming, prophesied through Isaiah, all the other prophets, yet when he arrived, they missed it. So here we are. The time frame is very interesting here. You can see all the prophetic fulfillment, revelation continuously just happening to many servants of the Lord. This is a particular video for one of those. I'm going to make a very drastic jump from one point into that revelation that a pastor of my wife's had about 2 months ago. And I believe the time frame is now, specifically because of some of the data that's been pouring through. Some of us have been watching the financial collapse for many years. I myself am a business dropout, finance dropout. I've been involved in the markets, traded the markets back in 2000, watched specific collapses. I mean, I've been there. For what reason, I now know. I now specifically know. I always knew. Saw the bubble bursting, the tech bubble. I traded those markets. Saw what happened when 9/11 occurred. I watched the markets plunge. Specifically last year, the year before, I was in front of the flash crash that occurred. The 999-point drop. Spectacular. I mean, God put me there to watch it. It's just crazy. But for the purpose of knowing all of this data and understanding it, and then relaying it back to the other servants, those that are wanting to push this out to other people, and maybe for those that are still unconvinced. I mean, it's culminating basically, and we are at the fulfillment, I believe, of James 5:1. I'm gonna read a couple scriptures and we'll go from there. But what I'm gonna jump to at this moment is an individual on YouTube found this program called Stellarium. I will put links on at the bottom. For those people that may say, you're dabbling in horoscope or something, that's not of God or whatever, I'm going to hit you again with a scripture. Psalm 19:1 says, "Heavens declare the glory and handiwork of God." Isaiah 40:22, and it is He who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. Before Galileo, before Christopher Columbus, Isaiah, specifically telling you that the earth was a circle. So the Stellarium application allows you to see alignments in the sky, and this individual punched in some digits, some numbers. What I find interesting specifically is not only what is revealed at that point, but it also correlates with other data, which is pretty insane. Might be too much here for a 5-minute or 10-minute segment, but we'll see how this goes. The revelation is basically, you see the constellation of Virgo cloaked with the sun and the moon at her feet and birthing something. So very peculiar, because Revelation 12:1 says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, the moon at her feet, and upon her head were a crown of 12 stars." There's various videos of different people making their arguments for or against. I don't particularly believe that this is that particular revelation. Revelation 12:1 depicts the birth of Christ. Argument I will make specifically is that that should be because of the birthing of the two planets. Appears to be the birthing or the appearance of the AntiChrist. Basically, you have Venus and Saturn being birthed in this particular juncture. There's another alignment that is identical, but that's perhaps in another video. In any case, the interesting part of all this is that particular alignment happens September 29th. It also happens to be the Feast of Trumpets, which is huge. You know, anything that combines with any kind of a Hebraic calendar is not a coincidence. I mean, specifically, God is of Hebraic culture, period. And those that want to argue it, argue it. It makes no difference. People have been taken to heaven. They see Hebrew, or not Hebrew, but they see Aramaic writing, or they see this type of scripture, or, you know, writings. The language perhaps is the same. I don't know. But the point being is that when you have any kind of alignment with the Judeo or the Jewish calendar, you should wake up. You know, Jesus specifically came on a certain time. He, you know, was crucified at a certain time. He resurrected at a certain time. The day of Pentecost. All of these things are very specific on the Hebraic calendar. So those who've been ignoring it, those that are Western culture, we've completely messed up. I mean, I just walked into this 2 years ago, and I feel bad coming in and, you know, picking up a whip. But it's like, we need to get it. That, you know, he told us to keep the time, and he, you know, told us to do all these things, and it was for a reason, so that we knew everything about him and everything about him to be. You know, all of these things are all connected. In any case, the point being is if the arrival of the Antichrist is to be September 29th, or the sign of it, the only way that he can come about is through financial, or not financial, but global destruction. And I believe that global destruction or distress could be through finance. It's already evident. The inflation that we see, there were stories I heard a couple months back regarding some strange numbers. Inflation maybe at 100% in a couple weeks. Very plausible. So in any case, the connection is back to James 5:1, where this is about to happen. And I'm going to read